Please set your volume control at the level of my voice.
Today for the kind of bargains you could only get on Labor Day. Don't wait. The sale ends this weekend. And now the weather. The latest official forecast from the National Weather Service tells us that it will be sunny and warm for the balance of the day, a high in the 90s. Clear and balmy tonight with a low in the 70s. Tomorrow, more of the same. Perfect weather for this Labor Day weekend. That's the news and weather up to the moment. Tune in again in 30 minutes.
Perfect weather for this Labor Day weekend. Everything has come together. Bright, sunny weather, the last big holiday weekend of summer, and a lot of people with a lot of plans to make it a big one. They've packed themselves into cars, trailers, campers, and then packed those onto crowded highways, bridges, causeways. And when they get there, they'll sail, swim, and sun, and, just maybe, stand in the path of disaster. This man is Dr. Neil Frank. He's director of the National Hurricane Center in Miami, and he has a sense of the problem. He was going to stay home today. He should have known better.
Sorry to spoil your weekend.
Yeah, it looks like we may have another Labor Day storm, huh?
Yes, I'm afraid so. As you can see here, there's been an awful lot of development in the last 24 hours, so this is certainly a system that's going to develop.
Okay, now this is one that came off of Africa a couple days ago,
Yes, about
right?
3 days ago.
Have we had any ship reports?
We've had some ships very near, but not right in it, but enough to establish the circulation.
Okay, what's the status of recon?
We have a reconnaissance flight all set up. The plane is leaving Mississippi this afternoon for Puerto Rico, and he'll be out in the storm area the first thing in the morning.
Now, he has plenty of time.
He has plenty of time to make it.
Well, let's see what it looks like on that movie loop.
Okay.
John, how many hours does this loop cover?
It covers a 6-hour period. The last one was 2 hours ago.
Well, you can certainly see that it's better organized today than it was yesterday.
Yes, it is, and it's becoming a little better organized.
The NOAA weather satellite picture, the first line of defense in hurricane forecasting.
No.
Individual pictures are joined to form a loop, a precise picture of the behavior of this storm. Satellites are used to watch the weather, to track the storms. And they're part of a broad base of technology and expertise, machines and people, all aimed at getting the information in, making some sense of it, and getting it out as fast as possible. This new storm developed off the coast of Africa, just like many of the others, just like a past storm shown on this satellite loop. The storm starts as a weak and disorganized low-pressure area. Then it builds and moves, often erratically, picking up speed and intensity as it moves westward. This new storm may curve and snake its way across the South Atlantic, and then aim itself at a coastline and people. Then the second line of defense. When the storm threatens, Air Force planes go out. They fly directly into the storm, right to the center, the eye. They take readings, observations, and report those back to Miami. And the last line of defense, radar, giving last-minute positions as the storm comes closer to the coast. Scientists need to understand all they can about hurricanes, so NOAA research planes go out to gather information on these giant storms. The lesson of history is that we can't know too much. forecaster knows a lot, but science is only part of his job. The other part is people, in getting warnings and advice out to them, and that's a problem. Most of them have never gone through a hurricane and may not listen. People. In Galveston, Texas, at the turn of the century, a hurricane did hit, and 6,000 people were killed. In 1928 in South Florida, 2,000 dead. In 1938 in the Northeast, 600 lives lost, and not just coastal residents. In 1972, the remains of Hurricane Agnes swept inland, and 118 died. The lesson of history is that it repeats itself. The problem is growing because the population is growing. Millions have moved to the beaches, the coastal areas, attracted by the lifestyles there. In 10 years, the population jumped by 40%. Many of them came from areas far away from the coast, and they don't know that people hundreds of miles from the center of a hurricane are in danger. And until they're hit by a storm, many of them won't give it much thought. South or north, all over, they've come to feel secure in their houses or in their high-rises. Even in their mobile homes, they feel secure, but they're not. When a storm threatens, what's the decision? Stay or go? Getting out may be the only answer. And that's another problem. Getting out may mean traveling over bridges and causeways. Sometimes there's only one way out. The Florida Keys, the ocean beaches of Maryland, New England. Those who don't listen or wait too long may find themselves in real trouble. And now, this new storm. In Gulfport, Mississippi, Wade Geis. He's Civil Defense Director for that region.
Oh, yes. The people of the Mississippi Gulf Coast are monitoring this storm. You can rest assured of that. You know, today was a day very much like the day that Hurricane Camille hit Harrison County and the Mississippi Gulf Coast. Beautiful sunny day in 1969. I'd like to show you the extent that one of our citizens went to provide hurricane protection. Let me show you a hurricane-proof house. These steps lead to the hurricane-proof house designed and built by Sam Owens. Sam took a lot of pride in the construction of this structure. He personally examined every tie-down bolt, every piece of structural steel, every foot of concrete that was laid. Seven people perished in this hurricane-proof house the night of the storm. We begged them from the operations center to evacuate the area, but they were confident that the house would hold up. Now, of course, it makes good common sense to build a structure to withstand the forces of the elements, but why hang your life on it?
The storm surge. It's a rising wall of water topped with pounding waves. The storm surge claims 9 out of every 10 lives lost in a hurricane. And add to this, devastating high winds. This is the aftermath of Hurricane Eloise, an average storm as hurricanes go. Yet the water that came roaring in was 16 feet high. When Camille hit the Gulf Coast, the storm Wade Geis talked about, it was 25 feet high. Away from the coast, a storm can cause other problems. It may lose its hurricane status, but that's cold comfort to the people along flooded rivers and streams. Cold comfort to those who've lost their families, to those who've lost friends and homes. The surge, the high winds, the inland flooding, the danger.
I'm sorry, Mary, what did they say?
At the Hurricane Center, they monitor every change in the storm, every change in direction, speed, strength. They've issued a hurricane watch, a first stage alert, and they've named this storm Chris. A, B, C for Chris. The third one this season. It could strike within 36 hours. As they post the watch, the complex machinery of community action is set into motion. They still aren't sure, but just in case, they begin issuing advice through the media and through NOAA Weather Radio. Local statements, specific advice aimed at a specific area.
Board up windows or protect them with storm shutters or tape. Danger to small windows is mainly from wind-driven debris.
Okay, Bob, thanks a lot.
Communication,
I'll pass that on to Neil.
getting the information in, analyzing it, and then trying to decide on that critical moment. Should the big word, the warning, go out? Wire services and television and radio and newspapers and the NOAA Weather Radio, they're all there, ready. The center is evaluating all the information, ready to make the decision.
Well,
Now,
that is.
all the facts are in. The storm is less than a day away. Now, the decision. The decision whether to issue the life or death warning. That rests with the knowledge and judgment of one man.
We got thousands of people living along those beaches there. If we wait till morning, they might not have time to get out. Let's put up the warning.
The National Hurricane Center in Miami has just issued a hurricane warning for the coast from Jacksonville, Florida to Cape Hatteras, North Carolina. Hurricane Chris now has top winds of 100 miles per hour. It is centered 250 miles southeast of Savannah, Georgia, and moving northwest. We'll have more details shortly. Stay tuned to this station for the latest weather information and emergency instructions.
So now it's official. A storm named Chris is going to hit. Somewhere in an area from Jacksonville to Cape Hatteras. 600 miles. 3 million people.
Secure outdoor objects that might be blown away or uprooted. Garbage cans, garden tools, toys, signs, porch furniture, and a number of other harmless items which may become missiles of destruction in hurricane wind. Anchor them or store them inside before the storm strikes. Store drinking water in clean bathtubs, jugs, bottles, and cooking utensils. Your town's water supply may be contaminated by flooding or damaged by hurricane floods. Check your battery-powered equipment. Your radio may be your only link with the world outside. The hurricane and emergency cooking facilities, lights and flashlights will be essential if utilities are interrupted. Mobile homes are extremely susceptible to high wind. If you live in one, leave it.